What's up, guys? Whew, Friday, finally here, man. Finally here. TGIF, right? Man, football season's coming to an end for me. Um, we still have a chance to make playoffs, and we still have the team to make playoffs, but a lot of it's going to come down to whether these kids want it or not. I can't go out there and play for them. I try to put them in the best possible situation to win, but can't play for them. But it is frustrating as a coach, and I'm sure anybody that, any of you guys that are in any kind of position where you're either a parent or you work with kids, when kids are capable of more than what they're doing as an adult, this is a responsible adult for that, whatever they're doing, you kind of feel like you get really frustrated, and then you're like, what could I have done better? What can I do better? How do I fix this? And some kids, man, like, I don't like saying this, but I mean, like, the 2 hours I get to spend with them, 3 days a week, isn't enough to change the bad habits that they've formed off the field. It's not just on the field. And I'm not speaking about anybody in particular, so if anybody that I've ever coached their kid, I don't want you watching this video going like, he's talking about my fucking kid and I'm gonna get him. I've been coaching. This is I think it's my 11th season coaching football, and every year you have at least one, at least. Sometimes if you're lucky, you get half the team. But nah, man, it's kind of sad and relieving at the same time, because I've never had this many problem with parents before. Again, 11, 12 years of coaching football, 2 years of coaching track, a year of coaching basketball, a year of coaching t-ball. Yeah, I think that's all I've coached. But I mean, never had this many problem with parents, man. And if you're a parent, man, I'll tell you, if your kid is not high school level, let the coaches coach him, man. And if you think the coaches are doing a bad job and you can do a better job or whatever, volunteer. Get out there, put in the work your coaches are putting in, volunteer, and you can be the difference that you're looking for your kid, man. Don't give somebody that's volunteering their time, especially, and I can speak from my firsthand experience, and I'm sure the majority of coaches that this applies to, man. Like, football's not just 2 hours, 3 days a week, and then a game on Saturday for me, man. I wake up every day of the week and go over my game plan. I write out my practice plan. I make 2 copies, one for me and one for my assistant coach. I go over schemes. I try to break down our offense, who can play what best position, yada, yada, yada. I watch YouTube videos all, like, probably an hour, 2 hours a day on how to do drills and teach your kids what your end goal is, different ways to teach them so that my practices aren't boring, I try to switch it up and make them learn new stuff as the day goes on. So, I mean, giving a coach a hard time is counterproductive, man. Because at the beginning of the season, and I can only speak from firsthand, but when I walk around and I'm like, hey, does anybody want to help coach? Does anybody want to help coach? Does anybody want to help coach? And I got, one volunteer, man, and it's like, okay, I'm going to make it work with 2 coaches, and I practice with 2 coaches, and I play with 2 coaches, and then it's hard for me to complain about it, man, because I volunteered for this. I volunteered for it, so anything that comes with me volunteering for this it's on me, And I'll never blame a season on a kid, on 2 kids, on 3 kids, on a group of kids. I'm the coach. I'm responsible for the outcome of my game. And it's very frustrating to me when I see how talented these kids are, and I can't get through their head to not be afraid of contact. I can't get it through their head that if you're running at your top speed, it's going to be harder for the person to tackle you, or it's going to be harder for the person to outrun you. Stop walking on the field. Look for the play. Don't just stand there and stare at a butterfly. It's hard when I can't get that thought process in these kids' head, and it's like frustrating. How do I change it? What do I do better? You know? I know most of you guys don't come to this vlog to hear me talk about football, but I mean, it is a huge part of my life. We'll change the subject because it's been bothering me, because last night last night was picture day, and it was the day after Halloween, and there was a bunch of factors that went into it, but regardless, like having a short week because we had to cancel our Monday's practice. Tuesday we had an okay practice. It wasn't bad. And then Thursday's practice, we only got an hour instead of 2 hours because pictures were the first hour. And then those kids were not there, like they were on Halloween and picture mindset. They weren't on football mindset. And that's one of the things I've been preaching the whole season, man. You step foot on that football field, there ain't nothing more important than football. You take one step off that football field, family, school, if you're religious, you got church. There's thousands of things that are more important than football when you step foot off that field at their age. But when you step foot on that field, man, you got to transform into this monster football player. And I'm trying to pound that in these kids' heads. And some of them get it, man. Some of them buy into it, and some of them are just... I have kids, man, that are way better than I was when I was their age, you know? I was good, don't get me wrong. But I look at these kids, man, and I'm like, man, that kid is fucking lightning fast. Man, that kid hits as hard as I did when I was in high school. Man, this kid can break down an offense as a middle linebacker and read the offense and be in the right position before the ball gets to the line of scrimmage. Like, and these are I started the season with 3 6-year-olds, which isn't supposed to happen, but we allowed it this year because they were brothers of kids that were on the team. But to see these kids at 6 through 9 years old, man, breaking down offenses, breaking down defense, laying kids out, outrunning an entire team, dragging an entire team, man, it's a crazy feeling to see that stuff, man, because, you know, these kids are the potentially future, you know, starting, we'll narrow it down to starting high school football players. And I'm going to watch them play high school football. Some of them, and I really, truly believe that a decent portion of my team, man, has potential to go on to that next level, that college level, man. And if I can help a kid get a college education through a sport that he loves, man, that's why I do this shit, right? Like, I love the game. I love my kids. So I love coaching my kids. But, man, if I can make that big of an impact in a kid's life, I don't know, man. I miss playing football. But coaching is just a whole nother level of rewards, man. It's a whole nother level of a feeling of accomplishment, a feeling of success. It's a whole nother level. But before I get emotional, let's change the subject. It freaking rained all night last night and had a windstorm. And you've heard me complaining about it enough, man. There's still a lot of devastation here in eastern North Carolina from that fucking hurricane. And like right now, my trampoline is balled up in my side yard. Like, the wind was strong enough last night to drag, it didn't flip it, it dragged my trampoline probably about 50 feet into the tree line. That's fucking wild, man. And when I came out this morning, my side yard was underwater. I was scared we weren't, like, I woke up late as fuck this morning too. Like, I set my alarm clocks for 5 because the oldest kid has to be at the bus stop at 6. And then the 3 that are in elementary, I wake them up about 6:15. And we leave the house at 6:45. This morning I left the house at 7:30, so needless to say I had to check them in as tardy. Which, this is the first time in 3 years I've had to do that, so I mean, it's not like it happens very often. I do check them out early a decent amount because my youngest and my daughter have a lot of doctor's appointments. My youngest is a lot. He has a lot of mental doctor appointments, and my daughter, she has a lot of speech therapy and stuff like that. Yeah, man. Hey, and I told y'all earlier this week I got my oldest Red Dead Redemption 2 for making honor roll. And today we're gonna play Red Dead Redemption 2, man, and I'm super fucking excited about playing this game. I've listened to so many podcasts and I've watched so many like short clips. I don't want to watch a stream with it because I don't want spoilers. And I know that's stupid with a game as big as Red Dead Redemption 2. Like I said, I was listening to that one podcast and he said he'd been playing it for 50 hours and only accomplished 41% of the game or something like that. Like, that's insane. So I'm sure I could watch hours of someone stream, and if they selected one choice differently than me, then it's a completely different game for them than it is for me, so, but I'm looking forward to playing with my son, man. There's not a whole lot of games that me and the kids view as good games, because they are kids, my kids' ages range from, my youngest is about to turn 8, and the oldest that lives with me, he just turned 12. That's a whole nother story, guys. I don't know how to say that on here, because we did adopt our next door neighbor. The family was going through a rough time, and they didn't ask for help, or they didn't, whatever. But it was the right thing to do, in my eyes, because he is best friends with my oldest son. So now they're still best friends, but now they bicker and argue like brothers because they live together. It's funny to watch a transformation of kids, man. And like you got people that like they get married and they move in for the first time and then they divorce like 3 months after getting divorced, and people are like, "Oh my God, you guys were so crazy in love. How did that happen?" Just have your kid's best friend move in with you for a month and see what happens. Have them watch them when they stay the night. One night, watch that. But yeah, I treat him like he's my own. He does chores in the house, and I ask him about I help. I don't need to help him with his homework. He's a very intelligent kid, so I don't need to help him with his homework. But I offer, he plays football with us. This is his first year playing a sport. We got him out there playing football with us. Like I said, so like I say on my vlog a lot, I got 4 kids. I have 3 kids that were born, my kids, and then the 4th one that I really do. I look at him as if he's my own, regardless of whether he goes back to his mom today, or I have him for the rest of his childhood, or whatever the situation is, man. Like, I'm always gonna be there for this kid, so yeah, it's like I said, it's a situation. It's hard to, I don't want to get into details on YouTube or anything, because I don't want any opinions formed about people that you're only hearing my perspective or whatever, and I don't have a negative perspective of anybody, but I don't want anything I say taken out of context, so we won't touch that subject. But yeah, so that's a little bit of the backstory on how I went from having three kids during my first couple of videos to having 4 kids now, and the fourth one is 12, not newborn, you know. But yeah, man, Red Dead Redemption this week. Got my second to last regular season game. If, like I said, if we win out, we go to the playoffs, and we'll get in on the number 4 seed out of 4 seed. Because right now we're ranked 5th. But yeah, if we win out, we move up because we play the team that's ranked right ahead of us. And the team that just beat us Saturday is tied with us. Or actually, no, sorry. I misspoke. The team we just played is in 4th. The team we play next week is in 3rd. And the team we play this week is in last. And if we beat them and the 3rd place team, we bump up into 3rd. As long as the team that beat us Saturday loses out, and they're going to. They weren't a good team. My team just didn't show up that day, man. I don't want to say not a good team because we're talking about little kids. Like they had some talent on their team and they were well coached. But that being said, and I'll tell you this, I'm a Raiders fan, and the Raiders suck this year. I'll tell you that. So I'm just speaking the truth. I'm not trying to diss anybody or anything. I say that, man, because I don't want somebody like, oh, look, Coach Brandon runs a fucking vlog. Let me go check that out. And then the first one they come to is this, and they're from the team I just played, and they're like, what the hell? What? You know? I don't want that. I don't dislike, I won't say I don't dislike. I don't hate anybody in our organization. So there's our organization, and then there's the blanket that our organization falls under, and all those other teams fall under that because it's all over Eastern North Carolina. It's not just our organization that plays each other. We don't play each other. We have different age groups in our organization, and we play other organizations. So I don't want somebody from the other organization seeing this and being like, what the fuck? I thought he was cool. Now he's talking shit about my team. I'm not talking shit about anybody's team. The only thing I'll talk shit about on here is my coaching. But, yeah, guys. Monday I'll have a lot of stuff to talk about, I'm sure, because I plan on playing a really good game in Red Dead Redemption. I got a football game coming up. Like, November started, so we're going to start planning for the holidays and stuff. So I'll have a lot of shit to talk about. But until then, guys, Arrivederci.